When they meet at a church social, she seems so helpless. But the devil himself is no match for this temptress's power of persuasion. Power she has no problem wielding to transform a devout youth leader into a soulless killer. The sinners and saints clash in a raging, unholy, wicked attraction.
Temptation, it's something that we battle with every single day.
Just north of Spartanburg, South Carolina, the community of Boiling Springs conjures thoughts of steamy, bubbling cauldrons. It's actually a very peaceful place.
It's an area that you would picture where you wouldn't have to lock your doors during the day, or even at night. I mean, everybody feels safe there.
We're deep in the heart of the Bible Belt, and church is a big deal to everybody down there. This church Sunday morning, church Sunday night, and then church Wednesday evening. And then you're gonna meet your preacher one day during the week after that, you know?
The good girls put on pretty dresses, smile twice as nice. The good girls
God-fearing people live here, like 37-year-old Dawn Fowler. She appreciates the love and support her church family gives her, especially since her life hasn't always been easy. Growing up, Dawn's house is not a happy home. When she's 11, her dad walks out on the family to start a new life with a new woman.
She found that she wasn't really welcome at her father's home. He had gotten a new girlfriend.
You chose me. Me.
I'm not asking to be your
You chose me.
To feel that the new home being created by one of the parents is not a welcoming place can make a child feel unsafe, unsettled.
I do not want to raise your child.
Dawn grows up with her mom, yearning for male attention. After high school, life finally takes a turn in her favor. Dawn and her mother move in next door to Richard Fowler.
You like the neighborhood so far?
Yeah, I like them so far.
The two are instantly smitten.
Sure, yeah, thank you.
They began seeing each other all the time. And I think this was like his first love, so he just fell head over heels with her.
The couple shares the same religious values. They even work together at a restaurant in town. And pretty soon, they cook up a bun in the oven for Dawn. Richard does the right thing in the eyes of the Lord.
They got married right after Christmas in '89, and the oldest daughter was born in April of '90.
Richard quit school and he went to work to take care of the baby and her.
I think she looks like you.
Dawn thinks she's hit the jackpot with her devout and devoted husband. The one thing she's always wanted.
Do you have to go?
Dawn was really looking for someone who wouldn't leave her. And when she managed to get pregnant, her hope was that that would kind of lock it in and that they would be bonded together with their own family and that he couldn't leave.
She needs you here.
And Richard's willing to do whatever it takes to keep her happy.
Richard would just talk about how much he was in love with Dawn and how, you know, he wanted them to have a house one day and just have everything that they needed in life.
All right, babe. Love you.
Love you.
Richard and Dawn move into their own home. It seems like their dreams are coming true. But their honeymoon doesn't last long. Their baby daughter has epilepsy and a learning disability. As unexpected hospital stays and medical bills heap more stress on the struggling young couple, Richard pours his energy into work, taking on 2 jobs. Dawn's glad he's bringing in the money, But she also starts to feel rejected. This isn't the paradise she pictured for herself.
One thing that Dawn seemed to be craving was attention. She probably didn't get a lot of it as a kid. Her parents were probably very caught up in their own marital saga and then went their separate ways. And when a kid doesn't get attention, it's one of those things that they crave all through their lives right into adulthood.
Hey, I was just thinking about you.
Dawn is the type of person that needs to be told she's loved 100 times a day.
When she can't get the affection she hungers for from her overworked husband, the good church girl goes bad and starts to crave takeout.
At the restaurant she worked with, she was having an affair with one of the guys and had brought him to their home.
Richard has his suspicions. But because he loves her and made a sacred vow, he turns a blind eye, hoping things will change. For a short time, they do, resulting in another baby and more pressure on Richard to provide.
And he went to work in a machine place, trying to do better for his family.
When the money rolls in, Dawn starts spending it behind his back.
Dawn was sneaky with the way she would handle Richard, because it'd be a lot of, I'm gonna buy this, but don't tell Richard. And she wanted to keep things from him.
She gets away with it too, for 11 years. Until she stops sneaking and starts flaunting her affairs.
Oh, yeah, it's real.
I just want to let you know, there's been a guy going in and out of your house while you haven't been there.
The fact that Dawn was getting more brazen could have been indicative of a couple of things. Maybe she wanted more of a rise out of Richard. It's almost like the kid who keeps getting into trouble, so their parents will notice them.
It backfires. Richard has had enough. He divorces Dawn and moves in with his parents. Dawn misses having a man to take care of her. She reaches out to Richard, telling him they need him.
Richard was a good guy. He was a guy that would do anything for his daughters, anything to help his family.
Dawn latches on to that.
Hey, Dad! Hi, Dad. Hi.
Yeah, so much.
2 years after their divorce, she lures him with the promise of a warm bed and hot nights. Richard moves back in, along with his paycheck. It's all going according to Dawn's plan, until disaster strikes. Richard hurts his back on the job, putting him out of commission.
He had tried to go back to work after the injury, but it kept getting worse and worse. So then he basically had to stop working and take medication.
Watch where the hell you're walking.
You know, you could be a little nicer to me.
He'd be nicer to you.
Seeing that I'm waiting on you hand and
Really?
foot.
Where have you been all day?
Dawn feels trapped. Richard's paychecks are gone, and she can't live on his puny disability payments. Besides, she resents being the caregiver.
I can't even deal with this
Yeah,
right
don't
now.
deal with it then.
She's worked so hard to groom her man to care for her.
The relationship was getting increasingly contentious. They were fighting more because of where he was at and where she's at. So if he couldn't even really be a breadwinner, he'd really lost all of his purposes to her.
I am taking care of it. You're not contributing.
What are you contributing?
I'm doing the bills. I'm doing everything.
Yeah, and obviously you're not doing a good
What
job
am
of
I
that.
doing?
Yeah, you're not really.
The dynamic of the relationship was such that they both contributed to a deep, deep rage eventually growing in Dawn Fowler.
Oh,
How can I even
really?
trust
Oh,
you
you
on
know
that?
what?
No, Dad, don't walk away from me.
Don't touch me.
Huh? Come back here.
It's a rage that crystallizes into a plan of action. She wants to show Richard just how much he's hurt her, but she'll need an accomplice. What's this church lady have to offer in return for his services? Southern charm and free drugs.
You're not contributing.
What are you contributing?
I'm doing the bills, I'm doing everything.
Yeah, and obviously
Are you
you're not
kidding?
doing a good
What
job
am
at
I
that.
doing? Oh, you know what?
Dawn Fowler's reached her breaking point. With a disabled husband and a special needs child, Dawn realizes she has special needs of her own. She plans to act on them. She hooks up with a hot young drug addict, 21-year-old Stephen Palmer. To win Stephen's attention, she gives him meds she's stolen from Richard and their disabled daughter, and any other drugs she can get her hands on.
He would get Xanax and Klonopin and Lortabs, cocaine, even methamphetamines from Dawn Fowler.
Dawn's working an angle, hoping it pays off.
People would think she's very innocent. She's really not a threat to anybody. She needs help, and she would use that to her advantage with people.
She was giving him money every day. Money she didn't have, so she was getting the money from somewhere, but she didn't have it.
She would give him $200-300 at a time.
I know I need your help, right?
In exchange for the money and drugs, Dawn asks for an unusual favor.
I thought maybe you could just scare him a little bit.
Steve Palmer was approached by Dawn to basically take care of a problem for her, and that problem being Richard.
She invents a fiction that Richard's abusing her. She wants Stephen to hurt him back.
Basically stating that she was battered, she was abused, that Richard was mentally abusive, was verbally abusive.
She was building this guy up to either have her husband beat up or injured, to teach him a lesson.
Dawn's fishing for how far she can push a guy to prove himself to her. With Stephen, she doesn't get far.
Look, I gotta get back to work, all right?
He refuses to get involved.
Dawn's drive to want to see Richard get physically hurt really speaks to how much antipathy and maybe anger and frustration there may be in this relationship. She may have felt so wrong, so let down, so disappointed by this relationship that she wants to express that back to him.
The only person Dawn ends up hurting is herself. The cash she used to bribe Stephen had to come from somewhere.
She was stealing money from her work, and the feds came a-knocking on their door and took her to jail for the money.
Once again, Dawn coaxes Richard to come to her rescue and bail her out.
They struggled financially because at that point Dawn wasn't working, and he was providing what they had on that little bit of money that he was getting from his disability, so it was tough.
But the Fowler's fortune is about to change.
Oh my gosh, Dawn, come here. Dawn, come here. Freaking came. What? It came. The $90,000, it came.
He had gained a workman's comp award from the injuries, and had received that in an amount of about $90,000.
With his children's future in mind, Richard puts his settlement money in cashier's checks in a safety deposit box.
He didn't put it in a checking account. He didn't put it in a savings account. He put it in a safety deposit box. And there was a reason for that. And I think the reason was to keep it away from her.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a savings plan Dawn has thousands of reasons not to like.
Dawn probably felt that when his workers' comp check came through, that this was the last material contribution he was going to be bringing in to the family. So I think it served as a kind of now or never kind of push for something that she had been thinking about prior.
Oh my gosh.
Her fantasy may have gone simply from just wanting to hurt him to seeing him killed, so she could actually get the money and start a new life.
Dawn Fowler was seeing green. His name was the only signature on their safety deposit box. She could not get access without him being right there with her. And the only way that she would ever get her hands on that money was if he were dead.
Ashley in that school.
His death will be her salvation, but she needs a patsy to pull it off. So for now, she pretends she's seen the light of redemption. She suggests they go back to church. But the only thing she's crossing is her fingers.
Dawn knew that church meant a lot to Richard, and so they started going to church as a family together.
Dawn plays the doting wife, all the while searching for another Mark, a man she can mold in her image. The church's unofficial youth pastor, Robert Heidman, appears to her like an angel.
He was a role model at the church for the young people. He would help conduct the Wednesday night Bible studies and the group meetings.
Robert is known as a kind, generous man. A compassionate soul, he cares for his wife, who's laid up after back surgery, and works hard to provide for her daughters.
Come help us out, okay?
He was a handyman, so he would build handicap ramps or fix gutters or fix windows or do anything you needed done around the house.
Dawn wonders if maybe this fixer could fix the problem at her house. She encourages their kids to play together, giving her a chance to chat him up and lure him in. Dawn feels a connection. She starts to think that Robert could be the answer to her twisted prayers. Things work in her favor. When Richard's injury makes him start to miss church, she takes the girls on her own.
They would go as a family when they could. Obviously, Richard, the sicker he got, he wasn't able to go as much, but her and the children would go to church often.
Dawn never misses a chance to sit near Robert, drawing him in through their shared connection as caregivers of injured spouses.
Hello?
Outside church,
Dad, it's for you again.
she calls him all the time.
Hey, what's up?
Had a rough day.
Hey, hold on 1 second, actually. Girls, you guys want to go do your homework?
It's so tiring taking care of them all. I know you do the same thing.
Robert's eager to offer advice to the seemingly innocent Dawn.
You always know how to make me feel better.
He believes she needs him. If he only knew. Soon, the church community starts buzzing about their relationship.
People at church were suspicious because if you're a woman and you go to church and your husband doesn't go with you, you're not going to sit with another man that's sitting there without his wife. You're not going to talk to him afterwards.
Several people felt like that the relationship that Robert and Dawn had began to develop to be a little bit too close.
That day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom. I'd like to close out the service with a...
When the pastor's wife sees the spark between the two, she privately suggests he should back off. Robert tells her nothing's going on. But lately, they've been spotted together at a laundromat, and their antics don't look so clean.
Ma'am, I think he dropped your panties. No. No.
Robert barely notices. He's slipping into hot water.
Dawn and Robert began to develop a relationship where he was basically wanting to protect her, wanting to basically handle her problems.
He doesn't understand that his benevolence will soon have a body count.
Oh, there's Robert.
Hey.
They say the path of righteousness is lined with temptations. And for youth pastor Robert Heidman, getting caught in the wicked wiles of local Jezebel, Dawn Fowler, proves to be his undoing. After falling into her arms, he's racked with guilt. So he looks to atone by helping the family.
He would do handiwork for the Fowlers because of the injuries and the condition that Richard Fowler was in. It wouldn't be uncommon to find him at the house.
Girls, come on over.
The relationship between him and the Fowler children had begun to blossom and grow also. He was a person that they looked up to, that they trusted.
In a sick twist, he befriends Richard, who has no reason to suspect the affair.
My brother said that he was the nicest person he met. He had come into their house, done stuff for him.
While Richard's growing fonder of Robert, Dawn's preaching damned lies about Richard. With 90 grand at stake, she has to find a way to push Robert to cross a thick moral line.
Richard is just... he's out of control. He even started hitting me.
Dawn was telling Heidman that the relationship was bad, he was abusive, he was verbal abusive, he was mentally abusive, and that she wanted it to end, she wanted it to stop.
It's a lot easier to gain sympathy if Dawn walked around town saying he's abusing me for people to want to rescue her than if she says, I'm sort of not satisfied anymore. Nobody's gonna come in and sweep in on a white horse and rescue her from that.
She tells Robert that a couple of months earlier, Richard even pulled a knife on her. She fears for herself and her girls.
Dawn, you have to go to the police.
They won't believe me. I mean, he doesn't have any criminal history, and the girls are too scared to talk.
It was nothing that was reported to law enforcement to alert anyone that there was any kind of problems or anything such as that.
I don't know what to do.
Dawn probes Robert, trying to locate the vulnerable spot to motivate the mild-mannered handyman to carry out her wicked chore.
Now he's turning to the girls.
What do you mean?
At last, she finds it. Her story about Richard abusing the girls is an absolute lie. But it makes Robert recall the horrors of his own early life and his deliverance. The youngest of 9 kids, Robert grows up dirt poor on a North Carolina farm. Here, his father takes out his frustration with his fists. By the time Robert reaches the 7th grade, he's sick of the abuse and runs away. Over the next 2 decades, he burns through drugs and women, searching in vain for something to soothe his soul. Then he attends a revival preached by a former death row inmate. His soul is saved, and he devotes his life to helping others.
Brother Robert, please.
Here was a man who seemed to want to help everybody, was a big and strong guy, and I think that the key piece about Heidman was that he was a man who was not, by any stretch of the imagination, conniving, manipulative, sophisticated kind of man.
So temptation, that's it's something that we battle with every single day.
Now, the Fix-It Man's most pressing project is rescuing Dawn Fowler.
It's the devil trying to get into our lives.
If you're looking at Dawn, you think she's just a motherly-looking person. She would come off that she was the best person in the world. She did everything right, did what she was supposed to do. But you never knew what she could get out of you or how she could use you.
Robert really believes that he may be helping a woman who's a victim of abuse, which feels very honorable to him. It's very linear, very black and white in Robert Heidman's world. So even when he's getting guidance from respected members of the community, such as a preacher's wife who's saying, this seems like trouble, I think that that is superseded by Robert Heidman's actual desire maybe to do the right thing, which is ironic because it leads him to do the wrong thing.
I'll help you.
He starts feeling sorry for him because you gotta think, he's a youth minister, he knew the kids.
Thank you.
Dawn had just chipped at Robert, and chipped at Robert until finally he became so emotionally upset and mad that he wanted to take care of this problem for her.
Before he knows it, the kindly youth minister will learn firsthand that the road to hell truly is paved with good intentions.
Hey, is it done? I'm so happy you're here. Richard is just out of control. He even started hitting me.
Poisoned by the false gospel according to Dawn Fowler.
Now he's turning to the girls.
What do you mean?
Kindly handyman Robert Heidman believes only he can rescue Dawn and her girls. She's been lying to him, saying they're under attack by her husband Richard.
She was the one trying to take care of this family, hold this family together, but she's being abused by this man, and the children have been abused. And he just thought that was horrible. Robert Heidman thought that he was doing the right thing by freeing this woman from this abusive person.
Men like Mr. Heidman tend to want most to belong, to fit in, to feel important, and like they're doing something that people like them. And this actually can create a big target on their backs for someone who's looking for somebody to do some dirty work for them.
Richard is just getting, really difficult. I mean, I know he's in pain, but it's just hard with him sometimes. He just loses his temper all the time.
Dawn's personality was characterized as being somewhat mousy and quiet, which we often don't associate with somebody who sort of knows how to work it and be manipulative. But the fact is, it all has to do with who you are manipulating. Sometimes that mousy skill set can really pull for people to want to take care of her, and once she drew them in...
How can I help?
I don't know, we'll talk about it.
She then realized she could get her needs met, and then she wasn't so mousy anymore.
I'm gonna go to church.
All right.
As the holidays approach, while the rest of their congregation finishes the float for the Christmas parade, Robert and Dawn float a plan of their own. Robert tells Dawn he's ready to take care of the problem whenever she wants him to.
I want you to know that no matter what happens, I'm gonna take care of you and the girls. Okay? Even if that means getting rid of Richard.
I love you.
Richard Fowler will bear the brunt of their toxic alliance. The next day, Robert and Dawn put their plot into action.
In the morning, on December 13, 2006, Dawn and Robert started calling each other and making sure that they was going to go forward with the plan that morning. And they indicated to both of them they were ready to go forward with it.
As planned, by 7:15, Dawn leaves the side door unlocked and gets the girls out of the house.
She actually took the two kids that she was going to take to school, to the middle school and to the elementary school.
On the way, she calls Robert. It's a go.
You ready for this?
Richard is at home all alone and unprotected. Robert knows how to get into the house, knows where he'll find Richard in bed, and knows exactly what he needs to do.
It's very likely that Heidman did have what we call sort of a dissociative episode.
Anything I can do to help you?
The girls are too scared to talk.
Where he almost splits off from himself. The sensation of watching this all happening as though someone else is doing it. Once it started, he just kept going and going. He just wanted to make sure it was done. But he also, strangely, may have been catapulted by a moral sense of right. You did wrong. You harmed this woman who I might have even been falling in love with, Dawn.
Robert's bloodlust isn't slaked. He finds a knife and with 3 quick jabs, makes sure Richard is dead. Taking the bloody axe handle with him, Robert bolts, leaving the door open as Dawn instructed. Dawn's been waiting for his call.
Hey, how's it going?
Robert Heidman told her to stay away for a little bit longer. She stayed away a little bit longer.
She heads to a gas station to fuel up, kill time, and build an alibi.
Whatever she did say to him was incredibly powerful because she had turned this man from a relatively gentle, docile handyman to somebody who could go into a horrifying, murderous rage.
When Dawn gets home, she sees the sign she's been waiting for.
Lo and behold, the door's open. She knew the deal was done, and she never even went inside to check on Richard. She knew what had happened.
Department 911, what's your emergency?
I just took my kids to school and came home. Carport door is standing wide open.
Dawn was sticking to the script. She was basically following the plan. She was going to make the phone call as soon as she got there and saw the door was open.
Do you know if anybody's in there, or?
I don't know. I haven't gone in. I don't know.
Okay, I'll get somebody out there, okay?
Thank you.
33, respond to a breaking and entering. On the caller, she states that she took her children to school, and when she returned home, her screen door was open.
After she calls police, Dawn phones her mother, who lives only a few blocks away.
She called me and asked me if I could come by there on my way to work, and she was a wreck.
Meanwhile, Robert is home cleaning up. Once he finishes, he'll dispose of the bloody clothes and the murder weapon.
Ma'am, are you okay?
I think someone broke into our house.
With her mother by her side, Dawn tells the officer she never leaves the door open, so she's afraid there's a burglar inside with her disabled husband.
When I saw the door open and I knew that Richard was in there, I was just praying that he wasn't hurt.
Inside, the deputy is greeted by an appalling scene.
It was one of the most horrific beatings that you'd ever see. Blood everywhere, from ceiling, walls to floor, just a beating like you wouldn't believe.
One side of Richard's head is nearly caved in. Even the ceiling fan is covered with fresh cast-off blood.
When we first walked in, it was hard to even determine the race of him.
The killing was gruesome, and it was brutal. And it's hard for a community of that size, and it's that tight-knit and close.
There's no forced entry, and the front door's locked, so investigators figure the killer entered through the unlocked carport. The medical examiner believes the murder weapon was something like a baseball bat or table leg. The killer left an ungodly mess, but no fingerprints and no readable DNA. In all, not much to go on. In spite of the gory bedroom, the rest of the house looks too neat for a robbery gone bad.
I remember Christmas presents being around, electronics, jewelry, nothing being really disturbed except for the violent act that happened in the bedroom with Richard Fowler.
Detectives canvass the sparsely settled neighborhood. No one's seen or heard anything out of the ordinary.
During the preliminary investigation of the crime scene, things weren't adding up. You know, things didn't look right. And we definitely wanted to talk to Dawn.
Tell me what happened.
Investigators begin questioning Dawn. The timeline of events all but clears her. Richard was still alive when she left to take her kids to school and gas up the car.
Got gas? I have my gas receipt if you need it.
She showed him the receipt from the store that she went and got gas at, at 7:56 that morning, and she insisted that she wasn't involved in this murder or involved in this situation in any way.
The killer had to be covered in blood, and Dawn had no time to clean up before the police arrived. Her alibi seems to be rock solid. Has Dawn Fowler pulled off the perfect murder?
I need to make a phone call to my pastor first.
Do you know anyone who would wanted to hurt your husband?
No.
No one at all?
No.
On the face of it, Dawn Fowler couldn't have killed her husband, Richard. The timeline doesn't work. But neither does her reaction to the news of his grisly death.
He's been murdered.
Okay, I just need to make a phone call first.
Okay, take your time.
She doesn't have any emotion. She doesn't have any reaction. And she is denying.
And I know it sounds odd, but I don't know what happened.
Suspecting she knows more than she's letting on, investigators take a gamble.
That's where they decided to go with the polygraph.
Regarding Richard Fowler's death, do you intend to answer truthfully each question about that?
Yes.
They're relieved when she gives her consent.
Did you do anything to Richard to cause his death?
No.
Do you know for sure how Richard's death was caused?
No one is surprised when she fails the exam.
Can you see, Dawn, why this doesn't really add up?
She had this fantasy world that she could beat the polygraph machine and that she could stick to her story.
Once Dawn was advised of the findings of the polygraph, that was really and truly one of the first times we ever saw any real, true emotion. She broke down, she wept, and then she advised us of the plan.
There's a guy at church. His name is Robert Heidman.
He did this for you.
I didn't know about it. I mean, he just...
But in her version of the plan, she's a victim too.
No.
You didn't put him up to this?
Of course not. I loved my husband.
She said this was Robert Heidman's idea to do all this and everything, and that she was just a pawn in the situation.
While Dawn's bearing false witness by accusing Robert, he arrives at the police station to give her comfort.
My friend Dawn Fowler called me saying that she's here.
Totally under Dawn's spell and oblivious to her betrayal, Robert believes he's her savior. Deputies find him sitting in the sheriff's lobby.
It was just a simple matter of fact of walking downstairs and walking back upstairs. We had him in pocket.
Why are you arresting me?
Stunned by Dawn's sellout, he's arrested for the murder of Richard Fowler. Though he denies everything, detectives get a search warrant to swab him for DNA. Dawn is also arrested in connection with the murder.
We had two people that were responsible for Richard's death. His wife for assisting in the plan, setting up, and Heidman for carrying out the act.
They both thought that it was going to work. They'd worked it out. They figured the police would just swat hook, line, and sinker and would think someone actually broke into the house.
Investigators serve a search warrant on Robert Heidman's house.
We pull up in the yard, and this is a youth minister, and he's got the 10 Commandments on a yard sign in his front yard, staring right at you. And he had just beat a man to death. Thou shalt not kill was staring right at you.
Apart from deadly irony, they find nothing incriminating in his home. But the taint of sin doesn't wash away so easily. The DNA lab tests come back.
There was a speck of DNA still on his forehead from the beating. It wound up being the blood of Richard Fowler that was on his forehead.
His cell phone records also show that on the morning of the murder, Dawn and Robert spoke 8 times before 8 a.m. Cell tower information puts Robert less than 3 miles from the Fowler house when Dawn called him on her way to the schools. That's not his usual route. Prosecutors get help nailing Robert. After admitting her involvement, Dawn is eager to save her own neck and offers to testify against him in exchange for a plea deal.
What he did was just pure evil. And this woman led him down the Primrose Fast.
After a 3-day trial, Robert Heidman is found guilty of the murder of Richard Fowler. He's sentenced to life in prison.
I think in the bottom of his soul, he realized he's done a horrible thing, killed an innocent man. And basically, I think when he told the judge, I wish this never happened, I think that was the honest God truth.
Dawn pleads guilty to conspiracy to commit murder and kidnap, as well as accessory to murder after the fact. Facing a sentence of up to 50 years in prison, Dawn receives mercy from the judge. Moved by Dawn's daughters who plea for their only surviving parent, he gives her just 13 years.
How could somebody do this to their family, or to their girls? I mean, their whole lives were shattered. I think it was hard for them just to comprehend that this could even happen in their small rural town. I mean, how could it happen?
The children are placed in the care of Dawn's mother.
I was completely devastated because I knew it wasn't possible. I knew how she felt toward Richard. I knew that she still loved Richard, no matter, what. She loved that man. I think Dawn is innocent. I don't think she had anything at all to do with killing Richard Fowler.
But Richard's family disagrees.
It just really hurt me to know that she could tell him she loved him one minute, but she didn't really love him. She was only looking at her prize, what she was going to get at the end. She never once put anybody first but her own needs.
I think she was so focused on eliminating Richard that she was not thinking about the downstream ramifications, such as the crime scene and the investigation and the conditions of the crime and her relationship with Robert and all of that. I think she simply wanted him gone.
Before Dawn came into his life, Robert Heidman was respected in his church, loved by his children, and devoted to helping others.
There was a wicked attraction. Dawn Fowler seems completely innocent, harmless, type person that needs help. She gets everybody's pity, and she just drew Robert Heidman in like a spider. Drew right into the web, and he got stuck in it.
She was literally able to turn him into a weapon. Heidman was like the equivalent of a gun for her. She was able to get this tool to do her bidding.